Thank you so very much. Doris Ogbodu puts on the chat, good evening, and thanks for these insightful presentations. Please, what is the way forward for SMEs in Nigeria in view of the stifling policies of government and the resultant astronomical increase in the cost of production?
Are you asking me, ma?
No, let me take that quickly in view of our time. Doris Ogbodu and other people, 2 levels of answers. With the volume of questions on the chat box now and the hands still raised, we may not be able to take every question one by one. However, if we are talking about implications for SMEs and practitioners, please feel free to visit our YouTube channels for previous editions. We have had the DG of Smedan, we have had other experts who, we had Fidelis Onu, who was very, very comprehensive in the breakdown. We had Oscar Macaulay and a host of others. So these are not things that we will take one by one again today. You can refer to previous editions. And then the second answer is we can continue this conversation on our WhatsApp group platform, which I'm sure that Lady K will lead us, will expose so that we can join. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Kolade Bibe, please unmute yourself and make your contributions. Kolade Bibe, you are next.
Good evening, all. Thank you very much for all the presenter. It's quite an interesting topic. My own area, which I'm looking at, is when Dr. Oluwokere talks about the competitiveness of the export market. Yeah, though she corrected something talking about we have to look at it holistically. Yes, we have to look at it holistically, but in a country whereby we still depend on importation of input equipment for us to process agricultural produce or the mining machine, for us to process the mineral resources that we need to export, whereby those equipment still depends on our foreign exchange. Definitely coming back into the country, that means you are importing them at a very high value. Not that alone, you are doing paying the custom duty at a very high value as well. Until our government are able to look at what we could in the area of research and development, more especially in the area of vocational training, where all the manufacturing equipment, whereby they can be domiciled in Nigeria, whereby we can buy them at a very cheap rate. That's the only one of the best way we can talk about competitiveness. Because as we still bring all this equipment in and getting them cleared at the port, using them and looking at all the factors, logistic factors that are behind this, from the hinterland, transportation, no good roads, and insecurity. By the time we look at all this holistically, they will still contribute to a lack of non-competitiveness of Nigerian produce in the international market. That's my own just contributions. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, and thank you for making it brief within the 1 minute. We will now be having the final contributions from our speakers. We'll be giving you 1 minute each to summarize. And
Wilson had his hand on earlier.
Yes, sir?
Mr. Irumobo had his hand up earlier, I think.
Yeah, since it's going to
I can just use this as my 1 minute to say that, I mean, this has been an interesting session. I think, yes, I agree 100% with Mr. Boyede, all his points on the fact that we've started, this is something we should applaud, but then we've not even, the road is still long and we have a long way to go. And everything must be done holistically from, you know, all of the processes that involves export, even to producing, incentivizing small businesses. I just wanted to quickly say that, you know, there was a point about non-oil exports and saying we've grown. I 100% disagree with that, to say that because we had, I'm wondering whether we're looking at the same NDS sheets. If you look at quarterly figures, non-oil exports, right? There was a time in 2019, I'm not even going back before 2019, in the fourth quarter of 2019, non-oil exports value was 1.08 trillion naira. In the first quarter of 2023, it's 652 billion naira. So I'm wondering how this is something we should be celebrating, especially when it's still just 10% of our total exports. By the time we add exports of services, it's even going to be much lower than that. So in my view, I don't think this is something we should be happy about as a country, especially knowing fully well that oil is not currently at its best state in Nigeria because of oil theft. So if production were to increase, that means we'll be looking at 5% or 4%, and that's something we should celebrate. I don't think so. Secondly, we say businesses are dying all over in the US and co. I mean, it's sad to hear all of these when businesses are not getting as much support as they should for Nigeria. We're talking about power issues, infrastructure, access to finance, all of these schemes on exports that are available. How many businesses are accessing all of those schemes? We're talking about inflation of 22.4%, subsidy removal, all of these will go up. So yes, businesses are dying all over the world, but the case for Nigeria, I think we need to not celebrate stories like that. It's almost like saying because everybody else is doing bad, then we should be happy with where we are. Especially given that some of the key problems that we have are not being addressed. So I think maybe I should just end there and say that there's a lot of work to do, and I'm hopeful that maybe as a team, there could be some advocacy effort to advise the current government not to make the mistakes of the past, to see that, they are very proactive and see the real sector, the industrial base, as something that would lead Nigeria and address all of these foreign exchange problems. As I always say, as it is, Nigeria is not producing enough for local production and even for exports. And there's no way we can fix our FX problem if we keep going on with this production structure that we have. Finally, somebody said Nigeria has a trade policy. I mean, I was part of the Vision 2050. In fact, if you check, I made the presentation at the Nigerian Economic Summit on the need for Nigeria to have a long-term plan in 2019. The president was there and all of the governors. We started this process. We did the medium-term plan. Where is the trade policy that you're referring? Go on the internet, check. Yes, it's approved. Is it approved to sit on the desk of government ministries? It should be out there for investors, for people to see and, understand what the strategic direction is. Maybe this is too early, but we've been on trade policy for 10 years. It's approved. Put it out there. Start the road shows. Go across countries. The AFCFTA is here. What are we doing about all of these? We need to spread out, reach out to as many people as possible, because without that, I'm sorry, I think we'll just be going round in circles. But I should say that I'm maybe beginning to be hopeful and just hoping that things will go well for Nigerian entrepreneurs and small-scale exporters. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Yes, we have the remaining two speakers. Please jump in.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Can I jump in?
Sure.
Okay, my own conclusion is that we must commend the foreign exchange market reform, but we must understand that there are global financial market turbulence in the face of this Ukraine-Russia war and in the move of dollar recall through central bank digital currency, which is being pushed by USA. And incidentally, Nigeria is one of the countries that have been mentioned and that has signed into this digital currency. In the Nigerian context, we have the following conditions to work hard on. We have high liability dollarization. We have financial fragility and the effect on the balance sheets when liabilities are denominated in foreign currencies. and our asset is in local currency. We have an unexpected depreciation. I mentioned depreciation, but the other speaker said overvaluation. I mean, it was depreciation I was talking about of the exchange rate, and it has resulted in deterioration of the bank and corporate balance sheets and threatened the stability of domestic financial system. So we must go to the drawing board and review our trade policy. As had been mentioned by Mr. Wilson, it has been reviewed. It has to be, brought out in the face of this AFTA, especially the export trade policy. This trade substitution, we have to review it. And then the high liability dollarization that has continued to create external account imbalance must be reviewed. Otherwise, we will just be turning round and round and round in a circle. It is good to float Naira, but there are so many other policy dimensions that have to be addressed to make it efficient and effective. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Engineer Okere, you have the last word.
Yeah, just a few things to say. Really, it's I want to start with from where the Mr. I forgot the name. Mr. where you ended. You ended on the notes of hope, that we must have hope. And I think that is a very key thing. In this webinar, we're not celebrating anything. We're not saying we are made changes. We're not saying we are where we need to be. We are just identifying the effects of flooding the Naira as it relates to the non-oil sector. Nigeria has complex economic issues, very complex socio-economic issues. The exports are not where they need to be. The exchange rate is not where it needs to be. The leadership is not where it needs to be. The infrastructure is not enabling. The people are not very supportive. And even the leadership has a lot to be desired. But the point we're making is that we're on the right track. We're taking measures. We're taking steps to get things back on the right footing. We're not where we need to be, but it takes a village to raise a child. We cannot leave everything in government hand. Of course, we cannot make changes to government either. But there are certain things we need to come to grips with. And let me mention something again on the point that you made earlier on, Mr. Wilson, on the new trade policy, that it should be public, it should be open to everyone to see. I don't think so. I mean, this is a policy document. It's not how people react to the policy. I mean, it's not for the people to implement it. This is what guides the government in making more strategic plans for budgeting, for planning, and for making changes to trade and the business process in Nigeria. So, but what I'm saying to many was is that we need to have a positive mindset. America took so many years to get to where it is today. We went through the North-South War. So many people were killed. Same thing with other developed countries. Japan went through the atomic bomb episode, which all of us are aware of. They rose from the ashes of the atomic bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki to become a very strong power today. They were not complacent. They were not negative. They were not whiny about where they were. They rose from those ashes and became very strong. Even though Japan has very, very little in terms of export potentials. So what we're saying in too many words, just to wrap up, is we all need to roll our sleeves. We all need to be positive. We all need to work together. We all need to do our respective task at individual level or within our space of influence to make the changes necessary, and also find a way to influence government, advise government to make those changes. Then we can be where we need to be. Until then, we continue to work very hard. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. You are highly appreciated. Don't go ahead. Are you there, sir?
I'm here.
Okay. Yes,
I'm here, but
before I bring
take-
you in, before I bring you in, I just want to thank everyone again, even though I will still take 1 minute after we finish. I just want to thank everyone today. This has been very explosive. See the time, and we are still all here. This is wonderful. It really affects all of us. And at Talking Trade and Investment Global, we're looking for solutions. We're connecting with the right people to effect the changes that are needed. And our voices are being heard. So you're not just speaking into empty space, you're actually speaking to the ears that listen and make the desired changes that we need. Please, I bring you on board again, Femi Boyede.
Thank you so much. Well, let's go back to Idi Amin, and thank you very much indeed. I'm excited that I kept checking I kept checking the participants list, and seeing that people should have protested that we have overstayed our time, but instead it's even growing. So it means that we are probably on the same level, and the excitement I picked on what Wilson said, and now in public I say it in the presence of the public, Mr. Erumebo, please, we are coming back to you. I put on the chat box there is something that we'll be discussing with the technical team very, very soon. We will efforts to reach out to the people in the administration who are helping the government. I think we need to have a seat together where all the points that we have been raising here, actually we now have, I talked about the inter-ministerial engagement and all stakeholder fora and what have you. I think we need to lead one as quickly as possible, where those who are actually shaping the policies and the things that this government is doing can actually be there and understand from where private sector and industry is coming, so that whatever policies are now going to be crafted will have at least an input. It's good that we have crack economists, we have experts who have gone to Harvard, who have had this and that, but of course, it is the person who wears the shoes who knows where it pinches. And I think that we need to have a player, policymaker kind of forum, and we will try to put that together. Engineer Olokere, Dr. Akonji, I have a few other names listed here already. We will be also identifying those that we need to bring. Wale Fasonya, DG Smedan, Ezra Yakusak of NEPC, the MD of Nexim, and maybe NAQS because of rejection. We'll draw up the list, and very, very soon. In fact, I'm putting my technical team to task now. Within the next 72 hours, at least let's do a mapping of those that should feature, and then we will use the network at our disposal to reach out, especially to those who need to hear us. On this note, I want to say a very, very big thank you. I want to say, again, I borrowed this from Mr. Wilson Erumebo today. We cannot continue allow CBN to go to, they call it ways and means. Honestly, I'm hearing that for the very first time in Nigeria. Nigeria introduced that vocabulary where CBN just goes to borrow, and then we increase, we edit the constitutional framework to allow us to borrow more. Are we going to borrow for our fourth generations yet unborn to come and clear?
What of RT 200?
We will talk about that at the forum, and we would like to know. John, you have no, it's correct. It's just that we don't have time.
Was it backed by law?
RT 200.
Was it backed by law?
Let me explain from what you said. It had no law, but RT 200 and export expansion grant were supposed to be one and the same thing. One was established by law, and transparently run with a lead published, but there was the other one where all we had was the hundreds of billions that CBN paid out to exporters who had no name under a bonus scheme. All this, of course, these are parts of the past that this government obviously has demonstrated willingness, intention, and the political will to address. On this note, again, I want to say a very big thank you. I want to appreciate my team, the best team in the world. I know the time that you put together, even behind the scenes, to make sure that we come out to play, to dance in the public once every month. The public probably doesn't know that you guys put up so many days. I appreciate you. I thank everybody, and will come your way again very, very soon. God bless you.
Okay, thank you so very much, Femi Boyede. As you see, the team is there. You see me, you see Femi, you see Adebote Oluwatomini from Nigeria, Fumi Adebote from Sweden. Dr. Tony is from London. Aruna is from Canada, Toronto, just like myself.